I love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded. Play the game like it's nothing. I'm always thankful for something. Don't take for granted, stay humble.
What's up, racing fans? Welcome back to the Each and Every Stride YouTube channel, and my name is Keith. I'm really looking forward to this show here for the Smarty Jones Stakes. It's a road to the Kentucky Derby. Happy New Year to you and your family as well. Going to be a really exciting race to talk to you about here. Big Saturday racing in Arkansas with Kentucky Derby points on the line here in the Smarty Jones. Horse is now turned 3 years old, going 8.5 furlongs. For a purse of $250K. I'll be going through each horse here, giving you analysis, and I'll give you how I'm going to play this one at the end. It's going to be the point structure for the Kentucky Derby is 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. So first through 5 here for the points really helps these connections, see what they have under the saddle as far as, pointing to the first Saturday in May, the first jewel of the Triple Crown, the Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. So let's go over this field for the Smarty Jones. There's actually a horse that won last year, was Catching Freedom, a horse that I was very high on. He finished 4th in the Kentucky Derby. And Mystic Dan, the Kentucky Derby winner, actually went through this circuit at Oaklawn. And we've seen it in years past. I mean, American Pharaoh. I mean, the whole list goes down the line. So this is very important. I think Oaklawn will have a lot of good players here for the Kentucky Derby preps. We're going to have the Southwest eventually and then the Arkansas Derby. But this is the first one here for the Smarty Jones. So it's going to be Saturday, January 4th here for 2025. And let me know who you like too in the comments. So as I was saying, this is race 9, Saturday at Oaklawn. 3-year-olds going 8.5 furlongs on the dirt in the big Smarty Jones Stakes. Let's talk about some of these rudders. I know Peter Miller has a few of these horses entered here. And we've seen this move with Peter Miller before, bringing these California horses over to the Oaklawn circuit. I think they will run well, too. We got Kale's Angel for Peter Miller, and regular jockey Ramon Vasquez will be aboard. So this is Kale's Angel, the number 1 horse, 2-1 morning line. So pretty short morning line there. Last time this horse won sprinting at Oaklawn, looked like there was a lot more to give there, too. This horse really was motoring. I loved how this horse was gliding over that Oaklawn dirt. You get the one post, and speed is always dangerous at Oaklawn from the inside draws. So interesting horse. This horse has been pointed from the West Coast. This horse actually ran on the turf at Del Mar and Santa Anita. And now this will be the first time going 8.5 furlongs on the dirt. So for me, the question is, will this horse like the 2 turns? Will he like the dirt? Stretching out, as I mentioned, won impressively, really sprinting there at Oaklawn. So I think you got to really make a decision as a horse player. Are you going to use this one or not? I'll be talking about it. I think Kale's Angel is pretty interesting, but at that short price, doing things for the first time, I'm not so sure, but definitely one that's to consider. Number 2 is Hot Gunner, and this is for Remington Park connections with Scott Young, the trainer. And Harry Hernandez will be aboard for the first time for this long shot. Hot Gunner finished 4th in the Clever Trevor Stakes at Remington, broke the maiden on debut at Lone Star, and is another one that's going this 8.5 furlong distance for the first time. Would really have to step it up, though, on speed figures to be competitive in this one. Optical is number 3. This is for trainer Kent DeSormo, and Axel Concepcion will be aboard. Disappointed as the favorite, 2 back at Churchill, but rebounded really nicely with a win November 24th and was dueling and still held on by a head. May get a nice pace setup. I think this pace setup could be good for Optical here. Now, you don't want to be too far back, but the setup, I like the post. I think the speed, it could be really hot up front. So number 3's got to look Optical. Number 4 is Bond Temps. Still a maiden. So still a maiden. You got to love that in this stakes race. Now we know D. Wayne Lucas loves to run his horses. I just think this horse is up against it from a class perspective. Lucas, like I was saying, likes to run his horses, so he wants to run them, on the regular. One to watch, though, I think, in the future. Just not for me in this big stakes day, but one to circle in the future. Now, this is a horse that's gotten a little buzz on Twitter, and I've seen some of the talking personalities on various horse racing shows talk about number 5, Mo Quality. I think very impressive winner from the 10 post at Churchill, showing good speed, kicking clear, really good late to win by a length and a half. The son of Motown, I think we'll appreciate the stretch out here at number 5. And even on debuted, showed that this horse can actually come from the back. So came from the back at Keeneland. I think it's important that these young horses can be a little versatile because you're not going to get the best trip possible every single time. So these horses can learn to really adapt to the pace and the setup there. Now, this is for a jockey-trainer combo in Chris Davis, the trainer, and Junior Alvarado, the jockey. Now, listen, only 2 races so far, but they're 1 for 2. So I like that, or at least they have a win there, 1 for 2. So I think number 5 is a big player here. Number 6 is Hot Property, gate to wire winner at the fairgrounds on November 24th, and is the 8 for 5 morning line favorite here in the Smarty Jones. Drove clear. I agree with that race comment. Really drove clear. And same distance at 8.5 furlongs. So that's impressive that this horse actually has that big win. Now, I don't know. I mean, for me, it was softer fractions up front. But the way that this horse kind of kicked clear, I think this is deserving morning line favorite here. And this is, obviously for the big connections in Brad Cox and Flavian Pratt. You get nice, consistent workouts here, too, for Hot Property. So Flavian Pratt, we know he just broke the stakes record for jockeys. So brand new year now. Let's see if Pratt's going to try to beat his own record. And as, this horse has never ran at Oaklawn, but I think that win on debut will really translate well. As I was saying, the workouts look good and no gaps, very nice, consistent workouts. So Hot Property, I think deserving morning line favorite. Curvino, number 7, another Peter Miller horse for Francisco Arrieta will be the jockey aboard. Seemed to really like the mud, going 8.5 furlong distance last time, breaking the maiden. The start before that, this horse did have traffic, and it finished 5th out of 10 horses at Del Mar. So this is another Peter Miller horse that's going to be going from the turf to the dirt. And I think this one, really would be up against it as far as trying things for the first time. Doesn't have the same speed as the other Miller horse, Kale's Angel, the number 1. But again, I mean, if you can get any kind of qualifying points for the Kentucky Derby, it could be big for the connections. And let's talk about one of my favorite horses here on the Kentucky Derby trail early is Coal Battle. I talked about this horse last time on my Springboard Mile show. Now this horse has actually proved that he could win on a fast main track. It wasn't just a fluke with the mud at Delta and that stakes. And I said before, this is actually the highest earner, banking over 300,000 now. He was the highest earner going into the Springboard Mile. So this is the Springboard Mile winner, Coal Battle. Now he's earned over $300,000 in the young career. I like this horse. I mean, he's proved that he could win on both kind of surfaces. Draws back outside now. So he had the 1 post in the Springboard. Now you get the number 8 post, 9-2 morning line. I think this horse is going to get bet a little bit from that. And I think, first time running at Oaklawn. So let me know who you like to in the comments. And I'm going to tell you how I'm going to play this one. So I'm actually going to keep it with an exacta box. Now, I know I was just talking about Coal Battle, and I seem like I can't get really on the right page with this horse, but he's running back pretty quick, though. So it's about a little less than a month. So I'm going to look at some other horses here. I think Coal Battle will at least be a horse to kind of use underneath. But for me, I'm going to play an exacta box here. And I mentioned this Optical horse. He's kind of a long shot that I'd like. I think the pace setup will be nice. It'll be a good trip. Now, this horse did disappoint as the favorite at Churchill. That was a pretty tough race, though. Came back at 1. So this horse, I think, will like to appreciate the distance, get the nice setup. I think Optical is a big player there. Number 5, Mo Quality. This is the horse that's got buzz online. He ran from the back and forwardly placed. So I like the versatile style. I was saying he could actually, I know he came in second from the back that one effort, but I think this horse could really win a couple of different ways. I like the post draw. I know it's only 8 horses. I think there's a bunch of options there for Mo Quality to get in the money. In number 6, Hot Property, I was mentioning I like the speed. I know that this horse had easier fractions up front, but the way that this horse kind of just went away from the field, these connections look really strong for Brad Cox. I mentioned that Flavian Pratt is going to look to start the new year with a stakes win. Debut win at Fairgrounds at this distance that others can't say. I thought it was a really cool race. Actually, I like the Smarty Jones here a lot. And let me know who you two like in the comments as well. I mentioned that Catching Freedom came and won this race last year. We had Mystic Dan, the Kentucky Derby winner, come from Oaklawn. So important race. I know that there's a bunch of big preps on the way in the spring coming up, but let me know who you like in the comments too. I've always loved this race, the Smarty Jones. Yeah, I just came out with a Jerome Stakes race too that I just put out today. So give me a follow at Each Every Stride. Subscribe to the channel, Each Every Stride. And I look forward to interacting with you. Thank you so much for the retweets, the post, and everything. And let's all cash today in the new year. Big new year ahead, 2025. Let's go.